Hello, Laker fans. Welcome to another episode of the Late Late Show podcast. I'm your host, Matt, from Lakers Fan Club UK, covering your Los Angeles Lakers from the United Kingdom. It's a little bit of a different episode this week. I'm actually joined by my girlfriend, Tina. She is a Laker fan, of course. At the end of the day, how can she not be? She doesn't have a choice in that matter. Obviously, I'm joking with that. She can support who she wants, but she is a Laker fan. How are you, Tina? Are you excited to be on the Late Late Show podcast?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So we've got a little bit of a... it's the same concept as previous episodes, but then it's going to get a little bit different as we go on, because it is a little bit of a special episode that we've been meaning to do for quite a while now, me and Tina. We're going to review the past week of action, where we're going to briefly speak through it, including the most recent loss to the Toronto Raptors, which we both watched. We got up in the early hours to watch that game. And then we're going to speak about our experiences during our recent trip to Los Angeles in September, where we actually were invited to visit the Lakers practice facility in El Segundo, the UCLA Health Training Center, which was an experience in itself. So it'd be nice to share our experience with you guys, and we have a little bit of a video that we've created to release alongside it. So we think that that'll be quite interesting, something a little bit different. So myself, I'll just review two games against the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat, and then I'll speak to Tina about the Toronto Raptors game, which we both watched. So since we last recorded, the Los Angeles Lakers played the Chicago Bulls. This was part of the road trip, and they beat the Bulls 118 to 112. It was an interesting game. There was three quarters. The first three quarters were really poor. The Bulls had held a lead of 19 points at one point, which was quite a shock. I think it really did shock the Lakers. And then a lineup of Caruso, Cook, Daniels, Kuzma, and Dwight Howard wiped out the deficit in the fourth and gave the Lakers a 1-point lead. And then LeBron came into the game, Anthony Davis came into the game and finished it off to record the victory on the road. LeBron James had his third straight triple-double with 30 points, 10 rebounds and 11 assists. It's the first Lakers since Magic Johnson in 1984 to do so. And then the Lakers returned home to play the Miami Heat, which was quite a highly anticipated game, as I was speaking about on the last podcast. Anyway, to cut a long story short, they won. It was a seventh win in a row. They won 95-80. They ran out to a quicker start than against the Bulls. AD found his mid-range jumper, which was good to see. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 11 of 17 shooting. It was a very good game for him after what was quite a mediocre performance in Chicago. LeBron was there once again. He didn't get a triple-double in this one, but he had 25 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists on 10 from 19 shooting, and he actually had 4 3-pointers in that game. It was quite a funny play where he shoved Myers Leonard out of the way, which opened up the lane for a clear dunk. It was quite hilarious. If you haven't seen that, do check it out. Anyway, the Lakers held the Heat to 80 points, recorded the victory. The Heat actually averaged 111 on the season in terms of offensive points, so the defense came through once again there, and at this point the Lakers had won 7 in a row. So me and Tina got up in the early hours to watch the Lakers v the Toronto Raptors, which was played at Staples Center. It ended up actually being a 113 to 104 loss, in which the record dropped to 7-2 on the season. So we're just going to briefly speak about that. So I'll get Tina involved now. Obviously, we both woke up in the early hours to watch it. What did you think of the game, Tina?
I thought it was a really interesting game throughout. What I liked about the game is that it seems that the Lakers pushed really hard until the end. To me, we always knew it was going to be a very difficult game, and I remember you, Matt, telling me that you were not confident at all that it was going to be another win. You had just a bad feeling about it, and he actually materialized.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what impressed me in that game is that they pushed for a comeback, even though they weren't playing as well as they wanted to. They just kept pushing and pushing. which was very unlike last season. I remember like looking at LeBron on the screen last season when he was very passive in terms of defense and just being like, just do something, just like, hold your hands in the air or something, just try. But this season he has definitely improved a lot. He's trying a lot harder. He probably, yeah.
I just want to add in there, yes, Tina was actually one of those people that really was against LeBron in his defense last season. She would watch many games and be shouting at the TV, just telling him to do something in terms of defense. She found the play from last season where Kyle Kuzma pushed LeBron James, and then he obviously didn't have a choice in terms of defending. She found that hilarious. So I do want to add that in, but yeah, I'll let Tina carry on.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an expert, but sometimes I just wanted to tell LeBron, just do it like this, just hold your hands in the air, and then he might do something. You never know. But anyway, I thought there was a lot of improvement on that part, and I just think that the loss at the end of the day is an opportunity to learn and to just like improve. And it was a very good team to begin with, so it was actually the last year's champion, so. So it's just like they just take the loss, they learn, fail fast, as they say in like startup companies and stuff. So
yes, I think that's a good roundup. Really, I think a few thoughts I had on it was that the Raptors out hustled and outworked the Lakers. I think credit does have to go to Toronto. The Lakers did look passive, but I thought Toronto looked really good last night. They were without Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka due to injury, but I thought the unit that they've got there with the likes of Siakam, Van Vliet, OG Anunoby, Marc Gasol, they were there when they won the championship last year, and they've got that cohesion, they've got that understanding. I think you could see that at times last night. So I think credit does have to go to Toronto for their performance, especially on the road.
Definitely.
As Tina said, I was a bit doubtful of the game going into it. I just didn't have a good feeling. The Raptors are actually in the top 10 both defensively and offensively this season. They're not a bad team. And now they actually hold the same record as the Lakers. They're both 7-2. So by no reason were the Raptors ever going to be a pushover. It was never going to be an easy game. We got within 4 late, but the Raptors pushed away for the win. So we did get close. There was a little bit of momentum that we gained late on, where if Anthony Davis or Kuzma landed one of their threes when I think it was the last 3 minutes of the game, when it was a 4-point game, it could have been a different story. We could have easily walked away with the win, even with it being such a poor performance. So I think we'll be okay. I think the most important part is that we dust off and we go again. A very, very exciting season still awaits. That hasn't changed. LeBron was a bit passive last night. He did get his 4th triple-double of the season, but he only recorded 13 points. Danny Green didn't get on the score sheet at all, which was unfortunate. But, that's what happens. Pascal Siakam looks like a star now for Toronto. And obviously I've spoken about some of their players a short time ago. It's very much a similar unit that won the championship, obviously without Kawhi Leonard now or Danny Green. But I think there's been a very big overreaction since the loss. The team is still 7-2. I would have taken that at the start of the season. Like Tina said, we learn from it. You identify where you went wrong, don't you? And you go again.
Yeah, definitely. And I think something you mentioned last night as well, watching the game, was just the referee decisions that were just really poor from time to time. And it was definitely frustrating to see that and to see how he could have overturned the result at the end of the day. I think my personal understanding, and it's the same with soccer, football, is just that unfortunately it just happens. The referee just decides, and then you just do the best you can. And even if sometimes it's unfair and everything, you just have to keep going. So I wouldn't say it was an excuse for like not winning the game, but it was definitely not helping.
Yeah, I think coming to think about it off the top of my head, Tina's referring to, I believe there was one shot where Kuzma clearly got fouled late on. LeBron James was advocating for the foul, but it wasn't given. I think he went up for some sort of layup, and I can't remember who the player was for Toronto, but he slapped his wrist and it was a clear foul. Anyway, the result in play where Toronto had it back ended up in them hitting a 3-point shot. So all of a sudden, for example, I know it's hard to look at games like this, but when it was a 4-point game, if you take the 3 points off that Toronto would have hit with that shot, and then you add on maybe Kuzma going to the line and hitting one of 2 free throws, all of a sudden it's a tie game, if that makes sense. I know you can't think about games like that because there's momentum changes and one little decision might change the whole impact of how a game goes, like the story of a game. But that's what I was referring to when I was speaking to Tina last night. But a lot of that, I think, was emotion at the time.
Yeah, definitely. And it was just, again, it didn't help the morale. I think everyone was a bit down because what they were trying to do just wasn't really working enough for them. And then poor referee decisions, and it's just a lot to take. And yeah, again, like you just live and learn, and then next time they'll try to do something different, and hopefully it works.
Before we move on, I'm going to speak a little bit about this year's Lakers, get Tina's opinions on that as a whole, not just the Raptors game. But I just do want to speak about Kyle Kuzma briefly, because I've been seeing a lot of people giving him a lot of criticism online, a lot of criticism. He is rusty. There's no denying that. He is taking stupid shots. I don't think there's any other way of saying it. He's chucking up shots that have no chance of going in at this point. Defensively, he's tuned in. He has improved in that facet, but offensively, he is struggling. He hasn't had a preseason. He got injured, and he didn't have a preseason. He didn't have a training camp. This is a newly constructed roster. He played really well with the likes of Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, etc. He's come into a completely new unit. I think we just need to be realistic here. He will shake off the rust, but to people that are saying to trade him and things like that, he's on a $1.9 million deal. That's a steal for someone with that ability, an absolute steal. If you were going to move him on and bring someone else in for that money, for example, you won't get anywhere near that talent level or the ceiling that he possesses. He'll be absolutely fine, and the team will be absolutely fine. I just wanted to add that. So about the Lakers team as a whole, obviously we're early on, but Tina has been watching the Lakers for many years now, alongside myself. So I just wanted to ask Tina, what do you think of this year's Lakers team? You've followed the team for many years, like I've just said, and you've seen the youthful teams of years past. It's completely different now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I just want to tell you all that I'm definitely not an expert. I definitely don't know half as much as Matt about this team. I started supporting the Lakers because of Matt about 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So it's just my personal opinion. Yeah. So my understanding of the Lakers as a whole is that usually you follow a team, you like a team because of individual players. And up until fairly recently, for me, the Lakers were Kobe Bryant. And I think for a lot of people as well, he was the Lakers were him, basically. And in the past few years, I've seen the Lakers kind of struggle to find a new identity after he left, through people like D'Angelo Russell, that was supposed to be, the new gem, or Lonzo Ball, etc. They were all supposed to be the next star, the next thing that would push the franchise forward. But I feel like now, this season, now that LeBron James has settled in, and then Anthony Davis has arrived, I feel like the Lakers definitely have a bit more of an identity again. Yeah. They seem to be back in their flow, to have their mojo back, and talent-wise, the talent is definitely higher. I think they are a lot more daring as well. They seem to have like a lot more fun when they're playing. They're more confident in themselves, and so some of them shots are dumb and they shouldn't be made, but some others just work because they're trying together and they want to be creative and everything.
They've got that understanding, haven't they?
Definitely.
They know what each of the strengths are.
Yeah, exactly, and it works really well, and they have that winning mentality as well. I feel like the younger team in the past were very inexperienced and didn't really know how to win, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Anthony Davis helps with that. because last year LeBron James was already here, but obviously when he got injured, there was no one else to fall back on really, and then the youth were just a bit lost. Now this year, whenever you see a game and there's someone like Danny Green coming in, or Dwight Howard, or JaVale McGee, or Kuzma, they always bring like some fresh air to the team, and then they can go again, and then he brings a bit more strength again when the game is a bit stale. And I think it's definitely really good to see.
Yes, no, definitely. I think another name that has to be included in there is Alex Caruso and his role in the team.
Yeah.
We'll let Tina share as, obviously Alex Caruso gets commented on a lot of his, on Twitter, about his appearance. Tina, what do you think Alex Caruso looks like?
I've said that before to Matt. I think he's I'm sorry to all the accountants out there, but I think he looks a bit like an accountant. But in a good way, I guess. Well, I guess he's good with numbers because he's racking the season 3.
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah, he just doesn't look like he should be good at basketball, but he's been instrumental to the Lakers season so far. And I think on what Tina was saying about struggling to find our identity, I've said for quite a while now that I just don't think you win in the NBA with kids. I don't think there's ever been any historical proof that you win in the NBA with kids. You need talent. You need established talent. Yeah, there can be the balance there. But the past few years, we've just purely had youthful rosters. We were focusing on individual development over wins, I thought, in previous years. D'Angelo Russell, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. There's even players like Jordan Clarkson. If you push further back, before we even got the high draft picks, there were the likes of Ryan Kelly and players like that. I didn't think I'd ever be saying his name again. But yes, we were, even though we were losing, we were looking at their development, and that was what was pushing us on. But those tanking years resulted in the talents of Anthony Davis, who should sign long-term. I know that there may be doubts there, but let's just see where it goes. He should do. And if he does, it'll be worth all those years of struggles. He's an unbelievable, elite, generational talent. Obviously, you've heard my thoughts on the team, as you do every single week, but they were a few of Tina's thoughts. So, thanks for sharing that with us. And
just really quickly, I think something that's amazing is that every day the Lakers play, you wake up and then you see that they won, and he still feels amazing, and he still feels like a dream. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or not, but I feel like he's still really so happy whenever they win, and I'm looking forward to all the wins that we can get this season.
Yeah, because they will carry on. I know that last time out was a loss, but they're definitely going to go on other win streaks, and it's going to be a fantastic season. So let's move on to the practice facility. A little bit of background to those that don't know. On the 5th of September, me and Tina were invited to the UCLA Health Training Center in El Segundo, California, by the Los Angeles Lakers and the South Bay Lakers as well, who we've been in contact with prior to that. We were already out in Los Angeles, which was our first visit actually out to Los Angeles. I think we'll probably cover that in a bit more depth another time, maybe on another episode, because we're just going to talk about the practice facility, which I know a lot of people want to hear about. So, the opportunity presented itself for us to go. So we're just going to work through it. So how was the experience for you, Tina? I believe you've lined up some questions for the podcast, which will take the listeners through our experiences at the practice facility. So, yes, I'll ask you how it was for yourself as a bit of an introductory thing, and then we'll go on to the questions, okay?
Well, it was amazing. I think pretty much an incredible experience, and I think since we've been back, I think we both realized how special this experience was. So it was incredible.
What did you say earlier about the entertainment side of Los Angeles and how important the sports are?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
And I was just saying that to me, LA has always been the world capital of entertainment in terms of films. Obviously, like you see them you see LA in so many films, and then obviously there's Disneyland that's not too far from there. There's Universal, so really the capital of the world of entertainment. But what I didn't know was it was also, to me anyway, the capital of the world in terms of sport entertainment, and having these classical. I'm not sure you can say classical in basketball. between the Clippers and the Lakers.
Yeah, well, it is now. So I mean, it could be called the Classico moving forward. I suppose we'll find out.
Okay, let's call it the Classico then. This rivalry anyway within the city just makes it extra special, especially considering all the teams that there are. Like in the NBA, to have two teams battling in the same city gives an energy that's incredible.
With so much talent now as well, with
definitely.
Kawhi Leonard and Paul George being over at the Clippers. As I've just said that, I have just shuddered to myself, and I think I've got a little bit of a tear coming out of one eye. No, I'm joking. But yeah, no, there is quite a dynamic, and I think just one thing I'd like to add in there, it was quite cool to have the opportunity to get so close to the Lakers, which is obviously our franchise.
Definitely, and yeah, and shout out to them really to have put the time into showing us around.
Yeah, no, definitely. Should we lead on to the questions? And then that'll take us through our journey.
Okay, so my first question is, what did you feel like as a UK-based Laker fan? Did you get invited to visit the facility on the first trip to LA as well? What do you feel like?
It was incredible. Like Tina said, I don't think there's really another word that describes it. I don't think there really are words that can fully describe what happened. I'm even struggling now to describe it, but I'd never been to LA before. I'd seen the Lakers play, but I've just never actually been to Los Angeles. So for all of it to fit in together, in going to LA for the first time, being in contact with the Lakers, getting invited to the practice facility was just mind-blowing. I think when we were driving down to the facility, we got an Uber down there. Mm-hmm. It was quite surreal. I don't think I really knew what was going to happen. I didn't really know what to expect. My nerves were sky high. As well, you don't want to embarrass yourself, do you? But
we did embarrass ourselves, but more on that later on, I guess.
Yeah, no, we're not embarrassed ourselves, but we had a few awkward moments. But, I mean, we were based in Hollywood, and to get to El Segundo, for people that know LA, that's quite far. I think it took about 40 minutes in an Uber.
Yeah.
Anything over 20 minutes for me is far. I'm so impatient. But yeah, it's near LAX airport, and it was quite a drive. It was a really hot day as well. But anyway, we got there, and the outside appearance, I was just taken back. I never thought that, I watch like Backstage Lakers, and I see this practice facility and on TV, and all the press conferences that happen there, and I never thought that I'd actually ever be there. I thought maybe in my head I was like, oh, it'd be cool to go there one day, but I never actually thought there would be substance behind that where it would actually occur. And that took me back a little bit. I think we had a moment where we just stood and stared at the facility, didn't we? Yeah. I'm not sure if that's weird, but yeah, we did that.
Yeah, definitely. There were the creeps outside, taking like 1,000 pictures through the little bars,
the fences,
on the fence. There wasn't anyone about as well, so that was a bit awkward. But I think for me it was the other way around. We saw Backstage Lakers episode afterwards, and I was like, oh, that's where we went. How cool is it? It's on TV.
Oh yeah, you understood the magnitude of it
afterwards. Yeah.
I think that's what it was a bit like for me. I think, even when we stood at the outside, I don't think I really knew what was happening, and I was trying to soak it in. And it was quite hard because we were visiting the facility, but we were also meeting staff members and things like that. So there was a lot going on at once. And obviously it was our first time there as well. So it was quite surreal, and there was quite a lot to take in. And I was just trying my utmost to just savor it because it was an incredible opportunity. I think that once we told people that we'd actually been, a lot of people were actually like, no, did that actually really happen? Yeah. We know people in LA as well. That was partly why we went, was to visit people that are from LA, that live in LA, and they've never got anywhere near to the practice facility, and they certainly don't know anyone that's ever been in it, invited on a private tour like we were. But we had a look outside, and then we went to the Lakers shop before, saw all the jerseys lined up. For anyone visiting, there's more selection at El Segundo's Lakers shop than there is at Staples Center, because Staples Center is just a Team LA store. So if you do want Lakers stuff, go to El Segundo. It's a bit smaller, bit specifically for the Lakers. And actually, we've got a funny story in that store. Tina was looking for like a towel cover. And do you want to tell the listeners of what type of towel cover you were looking for?
Because we've seen something, we've seen a few like covers in the shop of the Staples Center, and when we went to El Segundo, we saw that throw. I think it was like purple, obviously purple and white or something.
Yeah,
like a really weird color with like LeBron's face on it, and he was like a huge throw as well. And I first just started like joking about like, oh, should we get it back and stuff, and then like soon enough it was a bit more of a matter of, do we have space actually in our luggage? Like, could it fit? Is it like the right price? And we're actually considering buying it, and like it's just like, I don't know, having it on one of the walls or something, like a massive face of LeBron James looking at us, shining over us.
Yeah, just sat there in the early hours of the morning watching the games, just with, under a blanket that's dominated by LeBron James's face. Now that is definitely strange.
Could have been a lucky blanket though. We'll never know.
Maybe they might have won against the Toronto Raptors if we had that blanket.
Yeah. Well, sorry, folks. That's our fault. It's on us.
Hey guys, I'm just going to let you know how you can save money with Fanatics UK and the NBA Store Europe. Lakers Fan Club UK are proud affiliate partners of both websites, where you can enter the promo code LakersUK10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. This is not restricted to Lakers gear only. The promo code works site-wide for both. On the Fanatics UK site, they have a wide range of NBA, MLB, NFL, NHL, and soccer/football merchandise. NBA Store Europe hosts a wide selection of official NBA gear. One thing that you have to do though to activate the discount is to access each website through the links provided on the Lakers Fan Club UK website. This is www.lakersfanclubuk.com/partners. So that's www.lakersfanclubuk.com/partners. So if you enter the Fanatics UK and or the NBA Store Europe website through the links provided on the Lakers Fan Club UK website and enter the promotional code LakersUK10 at checkout, you will get a 10% discount. That's LakersUK10, all one word in capitals, and that will enable the discount. Promotional code can be used more than once, so do store it and it will save you money when you purchase through Fanatics UK and the official NBA Store Europe. So that throw was definitely a funny part of our experience before going in.
This was a throwback.
Oh, no, that was, I mean, a lot of you won't know Tina, but she does this all the time. Yeah, we'll just laugh along with it. We're anyway, Tina was actually speaking about, we're not even in the facility yet in terms of our story, but we had a bit of an awkward moment before entering the facility. Do you want to tell them or shall I?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we were waiting outside awkwardly. The time had come where we were supposed to meet the people we were meeting, and we got to this door, which was part of the outside perimeter, which would let you into like the inner car part where the reception door was. Anyway, we buzzed on the door and we were like, oh, we're here to visit who we were visiting. And obviously our names must have been down, so they buzzed us through. Anyway, as we went to open the door, the door clicked off before we opened it. So I don't know if that makes sense, but we tried to open it and it had already clicked, so we'd already missed our opportunity to get in.
So we were stuck outside.
Yeah, so we had that awkward moment where we were like, do we buzz again? Like, what do we do? And anyway, we were just awkwardly hanging around because, we were nervous as well because of the visit. So all this was going on as well. And staff members were just like walking past us like, who are those strange people? It was a really hot day, so I just had like shorts and a t-shirt on.
Yeah, I think the thing is like we look like tourists. And they're probably like, oh, are you lost? Or what are you doing here?
Are you stalking us? Or?
Are you the people that were in front of the fans taking pictures awkwardly before? But
eventually the staff came up to us, not the people we were going to meet, but they let us in and we explained the situation. But that was quite a funny moment, a funny, awkward moment before. Quite embarrassing to share, but, it makes a good story. But anyway, that brought us up to the reception, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start going into the venue now. That's where that started. And we went to the reception where we met the people we were meeting. And there was a big banner at the top of the reception that said "Home of the Lakers," didn't it? In big, big letters, with a bit of a gold trim on the outside, which was really cool. And there was like images of players on like electronic screens in the reception, like flickering with the current players on. And there were behind the reception was a really cool montage of like the historical element of the team. It was like a cartoon, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It did have LeBron in it, but also had Kobe, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, George Mikan, Wilt Chamberlain. It just goes on and on and on. It had Jerry Buss on it with all the championships and things like that. It was a really cool cartoony montage, wasn't it? Which was really was something to see, wasn't it? And then in the corner of the reception, I'll let Tina explain this a little bit. What was in the corner of the reception, which was quite eye-catching when you walked in?
Yeah, there was a massive golden door.
It was about 10 foot tall.
Yes, he was very impressive, and he was very inviting as well, obviously. Like embarrassing ourselves.
Yeah, we were already causing havoc. Everyone seemed to know who we were. But the people that we were supposed to meet showed up pretty fast. We took some pictures around, and we did what we did, and then the tour began. So we went back down to the reception, and we went through this golden door. Anyway, the golden door took you through to like a hallway, which led you to, on the right hand side, there was a glass wall which opened up the whole of the practice facility, didn't it? I think there's 3 courts in the middle. And just a bit more on the golden door, I really thought it was a cool reflection of greatness, of where the franchise is, what the franchise expects. So when you step into that franchise, they expect greatness. They expect you to bring everything, to bring the golden era back to Los Angeles. That was my view.
Definitely. You felt like there was massive responsibility pushing the golden doors, like meant something in terms of carrying on the legacy of the Lakers, even as an outsider. Like it was just a reminder of the grand past, and I think probably also the grand future that was waiting the franchise.
Yeah, no, definitely. And on the where the glass wall was, where it opened up to the courts, on the left-hand side there was a big Lakers text on the wall, wasn't there? Like the logo that's on the logo, that type of text. And then we obviously checked all that out, and then we went into the film room, like the video room.
Yes.
That was quite cool. Obviously, massive, like cinema-style reclining chairs, because obviously they're all like 6-7 foot. And that was quite cool. There wasn't too much to see there, but it was cool to see it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then they were pointing at the chairs and being like, oh, that's usually where LeBron sits, and that's usually where Anthony Davis sits, and just...
Yeah, I think LeBron had like middle center.
Yeah.
King. And as we walked down the hallway, the glass wall on the right just carried on throughout the entirety of that side of the facility. So we had the film room at the first door on the left, and the second door on the left was the like medical facility, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was quite cool. It had Lakers on the wall in text again, and it had some physio beds, and just where they go to probably get massages, to have treatment if they're injured, things like that. Not too much to see there, but it was still cool to see. When we were looking on the court, it was actually really quite taken aback, because there were coaches actually doing training sessions, weren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we saw Phil Handy and Miles Simon, who were there taking, I believe it was other coaches through training sessions, or they might have been holding a camp. I didn't really recognise anyone else, but that was really cool to see. So we had to keep it a little bit quiet, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then that brought us up to like the corner of, the end of that corridor, and then it brought us up to like the corner of the facility, where we went into the gym, which was quite cool. Everything was Lakers branded, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not a massive I don't really exercise a lot. It's not really I try to, but it's not really my thing. But when you saw that gym, you just really wanted to get on with it.
Yeah, it got you pumped up, didn't
Yeah, just like all the machines were inviting you to, become your better self.
Yeah.
So that was quite cool.
Yeah, and then we met a South Bay Lakers staff member. Obviously, we won't name that person, but he was British as well, which is the reason why we met him. And he was really cool. He was just speaking to us about the franchise, about South Bay, how they're really grateful to use such facilities, because obviously most G League affiliate teams aren't really properly associated with the NBA team. They have like separate facilities and things like that. So yeah, it was cool to speak to him, and yeah, we spoke about quite a lot. One thing he did mention was Alex Caruso being that pathway player. He's created this belief now that South Bay players can get promoted up to the Lakers and actually make an impact.
Yeah.
And we saw a cool part on the wall after the gym where it was like a roll call, wasn't it? It was like a Hall of Fame type thing. And it was about the NBA's NBA call-ups from South Bay. And it had like Andre Ingram on it, Jamario Jones, Jonathan Williams, Travis Ware, David Nwaba. So that was really cool. A bit of like this is what you can do.
Yeah, just inspiration, and if you work hard and, and the talent is obviously here already. So if you work hard, you can get into the NBA eventually, or you can get into the G League. So.
Definitely. And that was after the gym, wasn't it? So
yeah.
What happened? What I'll let you do this a little bit. What was after that?
If I remember correctly, it was a lounge with sofas. There was like a game console. It looked like a really good lounge, to be fair. And I was looking around, but I didn't see like NBA 2K anywhere. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't bar.
Yeah, it seemed to be like the ultimate place to relax. It's where they go in between the training sessions. Huge sofas, and we were in there with a few South Bay Lakers staff. Mm-hmm. By that point, I think there was a few of us huddled around speaking, and we had great conversation. Obviously, we're not able to share some aspects of it, but it was fantastic for me and fantastic for you as well that we were actually there speaking with staff members in the lounge, in the facility, and things like that. It was quite. At some point, I had a bit of like an out-of-body experience where I was like, wow, this is actually happening.
Yeah, well, not only that, but you discovered that it's an organization, so people work for the Lakers and the South Bay Lakers, and it's the job, and, they go there in the morning and they leave in the evening, and it's just, 9 to 5, probably more than 9 to 5. But you see what I mean? It's just like, it's a job, and I think that's what was outstanding. Obviously, they all had a connection with the Lakers, but for them, it was just work as usual.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you've got some more questions, haven't you? So we'll lead on with the questions, and that'll take us through the journey.
Yes. So next question: what was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment had to be Jerry Buss's rings.
Yeah.
In the glass cabinet that revolves round, it was incredible. Just seeing them all. Obviously, I've seen them on when I watch Backstage Lakers, and most recently I've seen an episode with Avery Bradley, Quinn Cook, where they've been going up to it and they've been like, wow, it's extraordinary. And that was exactly how I was. I've seen them on TV so many times, and to actually be there watching them revolve around in all their greatness was incredible. And in that area, that was in the upper part of the practice facility where we actually went first. And there were all pictures on the wall. It was like a maze, the upper part of the building. There were a lot of pictures on the wall of the championship winning years, like a bit of a historical nod to the past, to past success. There was like game pictures and championship winning pictures of like Kareem, Will, Magic, Kobe, Shaq, which was quite cool. It really set the tone. But they were very much working offices up there, weren't they?
Yeah,
there was a lot of people around working, so we had to like keep it quiet. So that was my favourite moment. I actually, before I ask you what your favourite moment was, what happened when we were looking at the rings? There's a bit of a funny story there, isn't there? Do you want to tell them?
Okay, so the first thing is like there was no we looking at the ring because it's gonna sound very bad, but for me it was like very good looking rings that was like turning on the little plate. But I looked at them for like 4 minutes. And then I was moving on. For Matt, I think it was such an emotional connection that it was just like you couldn't stop looking at them. And then I saw like that blonde woman coming out from an office with that tall guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm sure I've seen this somewhere, like maybe like in a movie or something. And then like well, Matt was still looking at the ring, so I didn't want to bother him or anything. And then they went past us and then just went. And the members of staff that were with us, they just said, "Oh, well, did you see how cool they said that you saw like Ginny Bus and Palinka and stuff?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's who they were." And then Matt hadn't seen them at all. Like he literally didn't see any of it.
Yeah, so as I was fixated on the rings, I missed Genie Bus and Rob Palinka walk past. How bad is that?
And I saw them and didn't recognize them.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I think you were trying to take in everything that it just didn't click.
Yeah, I was just like in a bit of a dream. I was just like, oh, everything is really cool. Oh, those people look nice, yeah.
But I mean, they did walk past us fast in my defence. I don't think there was any opportunity there to stop and speak to them. They're very much in work mode. But yeah, so as I was fixated down on the rings, they walked past us. So I missed Genie Bus and Rob Palinka. So, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's. I was a bit, annoyed about it, but it just is what it is. And the rings were so fixating. What was? But going back to the question, what was your favourite moment?
My favourite moment. I don't think I really had a favourite moment. It was more again like afterwards when we watched the backstage Lakers being like doing obviously the total reverse of what most people would have done and just being like, oh, that's so cool. The place where we went is now on TV. I think I definitely didn't like understand the magnitude of it. And just be like, oh, I remember when, we went past this door, like the golden door, and I remember like people playing on the field and stuff like that. I think that was like the favourite moment was afterwards.
Yeah, understanding what we'd done.
Yeah, definitely.
Another favourite moment of mine actually was when we went on that balcony overlooking the court.
Yeah.
Which was on the other side. It was kind of like a lounge. I think they had meetings there. I think there were people having meetings there. And it opened up onto this balcony looking over the court. And we could actually see the championship trophies.
Yeah, from very far.
Yeah, in Genie Bus's office. We weren't able to go in into that office, but we saw them from afar. And we saw one of the Bus brothers actually working in his office. I think it might have been Jesse Bus. Which was really cool. So that was another favourite moment of mine.
So with all these favourite moments, would you say as, again, like a UK Lakers fan, pretty much like 10 years at this point, did it meet your expectations?
I would say 100% because I didn't have any expectations set. I know that's quite hard to believe, but I was just trying to take it all in. It was incredible just to be there, and it would have been incredible just to have seen the outside of it, let alone, I would have been grateful to see the outside of it, let alone be invited in and speak to staff members and, be shown around the facility on a private tour was incredible. So it definitely set expectations. I was kind of in awe, so I was mostly just trying to appreciate it and savour it, whilst also getting content for Lakers Fan Club UK, take photos for myself. So it was quite difficult. I had a lot of reflective moments looking back. And I think it was quite a rare thing to go on such a tour and to be given the opportunity to do so. I'm just so grateful for.
Yeah.
So to do that was incredible. I mean, it wasn't all like there were limitations, I would like to say. So, I would like to mention. So, like we didn't see any players, but we didn't expect to. So there was, when we were going into the South Bay Lakers dressing room, there was a player on the other side, but the staff member went in before us to check. And because there was a player in there, we had to backtrack, didn't we? Anyway, I found out that player was injured, the South Bay Lakers player. So obviously if we'd seen him and he was injured and we reported back and leaked it, that's obviously bad. So it made me realise it was a working place.
Definitely.
We didn't want to interrupt. We didn't want to be there as annoying visitors, That's what I would like to say. But there were definitely players there, I would think, and not just South Bay players, but there were definitely Lakers players there behind the scenes. You could just tell. And when we went past the players' car park, there were really nice cars there. So I do think that they were around. But obviously, it's a workplace. They're doing their own things, and we weren't there to interrupt them, were we?
Definitely, and two things on that. The first one is that we were before it happened. Obviously, we were like chatting with Maya. We were like just like, oh, what would we do if we saw like LeBron James or Anthony Davis? Like, how would we react and things? But the thing is, like, we actually saw LeBron James from very very far during
The Big Three championship.
The Big Three championship game. It turned out alongside with Snoopy Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, yeah.
Snoop Dogg. Alongside with Snoop Dogg,
Ice Cube. Jeannie Buss was there as well.
And Jeannie Buss, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it was before. So obviously maybe we got we got our moment. Oh, obviously not our moment with the players because again, like it was a full arena.
But we got to see him.
Yeah. Like it's in pink.
Yeah, in his pink hoodie. Yeah, LeBron James was actually there with Rich Paul. Rich Paul, his agent, was sat next to him, so that was really cool to see that. Did it meet your expectations at all?
I didn't really have expectations as such. I was obviously really grateful to be invited and obviously like to know a bit more about the franchise, and I think that's the main thing. It was our first time going to LA, and I wish there were like more things to do Lakers related because obviously we went to Staples, but we can talk about that more in like a different.
It was in the off season, wasn't it?
Episode, yeah, but. It's not like there's really like a place, I wouldn't say like a temple, but something like that, where you can go and...
A museum.
Yeah, I think that's what you call it. Yeah. I think you call it a museum.
A temple.
I imagine like a little temple with like a little picture of like all the players.
Well, with how many people...
reflect.
With how many people worship the Lakers, you could probably have that.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure there's like...
But yeah, there isn't a museum there.
Yeah, no, there wasn't like really anywhere to go, so obviously this actually completed nicely our relationship with our experience of the Lakers going there for the first time, and we were definitely really grateful for them taking the time to show us around and chat with us, and yeah, the second thing I wanted to say about that is that it's just really good to see that whatever you do, you're noticed, and I can see firsthand that Matt is putting a lot of effort, a lot of time because he's so passionate about the Lakers. Into the website, into like the tweets. So we really appreciate everything, like all the interactions and everything that happens on the social media, everything that happens on the website. He really does take a lot of time to do that. He works alongside it as well. So it was just really great to see that, the Lakers noticed and they were kind enough to invite us and share also like the ins and outs with you all.
Yeah, I think it's just fantastic to be recognised. Exactly. I mean, I don't do this to get recognised, but there are, I do put a lot of time into it, and I have a lot of contributors as well that help, and they're pivotal to the success of the website. And it's growing. It's grown a lot in a year, and it's going to continue to grow. And especially with the team doing well, it's going to grow further. So, thanks to everyone that checks out the website, this podcast, the Twitter page. I don't do it to get recognised, but being recognised is just, it was unbelievable. Being recognised by the franchise directly, it's just pushed me further to keep doing what I'm doing, to grow it bigger, to improve, make it better. It was fantastic. I don't think there's many more describing words I can say really that actually, can justify my feelings towards our experience. It was incredible. I think even thinking back on it now, I don't think I fully understand the magnitude of what happened, but I'm like halfway there. Not many people get that opportunity, so incredibly grateful and, to have had that opportunity. So yeah, thank you to the Lakers staff. But I would like to ask Tina one last question, because obviously she's the guest here for the podcast. And she's been asking me a lot of questions. But as a relative newcomer to the Lakers community, you've supported them for the past 5 years whilst we've been together. Did the visit make you feel closer to the franchise, like round up what it means to you and your fandom moving forward, getting the opportunity to go to the facility?
Well, it was obviously incredible, and I think what I liked the most, weirdly enough, was to see the machine running, like working, like to see people, going around like doing the job, and then obviously you could sense that there were like meeting rooms or where they were deciding things about like the franchise moving forward. Just like the energy of the place, as like an organization, I think was fantastic. Again, like I think the fact that obviously they recognize and they try to reach out to people that are passionate about the Lakers, I think was something that definitely made me feel a lot more closer to them. So yeah, and I think something else that makes me definitely love even more the franchise is just like the community, like this community of people chatting about it and getting excited about it, getting sad together when they lose, and then just like this amount of energy and passion that's moving around about this franchise, I think is absolutely fascinating. The place allowed me to understand a bit more of the history of the franchise, a bit more of the legacy, which is always nice. Like I said, like I like museums. I like places to see things and reflect on them. So so that was fantastic. Definitely.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, me and Tina have always been close to basketball. We went to college in America. We watched live college basketball there numerous times, probably an uncountable amount of times. We went to Madison Square Garden to watch the New York Knicks versus Toronto Raptors. We've seen a WNBA game in LA, didn't we? The Sparks. Tina was talking about the Big Three championship game at Staples. So we do love basketball, like together we do. We watch a lot of French basketball here. Believe it's the LNB Pro A, where we watch our local team because we're based in Paris.
Le Valois. Le Valois Métropolitain.
Yeah, so that's a shout out to them. They're actually doing really well, the top of the league this year. Yay. So I think that's my impact seeing that I've moved here. So definitely. But we've seen a lot of British basketball as well when I lived in the UK. And, it's just a big part of our relationship, and we like to take basketball in together, and to have the opportunity to get really close to the franchise that we both love was crazy, and it was quite rewarding for the time that I put into this and the support that Tina gives me with this journey that I'm trying to create, and it's really, I'm really truly thankful for it.
Yeah, well, the main thing is I think thank you, because it all happened because of you. It all happens because of obviously the Matt's work, but also because the community and you interacting and getting involved and everything. So
people notice.
Exactly, people notice. So yay!
Well, we've come to the end of the podcast. Is there anything you want to add in, or we've covered most things?
I've made a terrible joke. We talked about the embarrassing moments. And thank you to everyone. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. yeah. Well, we'll round it up there. Obviously, we've been going on for quite a while, but we hope you've enjoyed our journey, or the journey that we took at the practice facility. I hope it's kind of given you a little bit of an insight of the facility. Obviously, not everyone gets the opportunity to go, so I really do hope that we kind of filled that gap into your intrigue of the facility and what you think it's like in there. I will be releasing a video to coincide this episode of the podcast. It's got a few little video snippets on it. It's got some pictures on it. I'm not a professional with a camera. I do try. Also, I didn't want to be that awkward guy that was walking around with the camera taking pictures of everything. So it was quite tricky to balance it and get really good content. But there's something there that will show you in video format what we were describing, that will actually show you visually what we were describing. So do check out that video. It'll be on the Lakers Fan Club UK YouTube channel, and I will tweet that out on my Twitter handle. So do check that out. If you can't find it, just drop me a tweet and I'll link it to you. It should be quite good in giving you a visual representation of what we've just been speaking about. So that's it for this week's episode. We have come to an end. I hope you have enjoyed. It's been a little bit different. Thank you for Tina coming on the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope they have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. It's been great doing this. It's been an episode we've been wanting to do for a while. As always, thanks for listening. We're on all of the main podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, etc. Be sure to subscribe on all your preferred podcast platforms and give us a follow over on Twitter at Lakers Fan Club UK. That's at Lakers Fan Club UK. And be sure to check out our website as well, which is www.lakersfanclubuk.com. Okay, so thanks for listening, guys, and until next time.